This week, Charlotte Leslie has dropped by for a chat. The Conservative MP, of course, for Bristol North West. Really good to see you.
Evening, Geoff. Good to see you.
I'm not a massive researcher, but I did have a little look, and I never realised that you and I have something in common.
We do. You can't tell from my accent.
No, you can from me, but not from you, for sure. Whereabouts were you born?
I was born in the same hospital as John Lennon, as my mum was always very proud to tell me, in Liverpool. Yeah, in Liverpool. So that my first years, my first memories are of Liverpool, and it was just after all the riots. And it is an amazing city. Not a patch on Bristol, of course, but I remember my mum taking me to the Extraordinary Catholic Cathedral with all the spikes and everything coming out, and walking on the promenade, and lots of paving stones. So I must have been quite small, obviously. I moved from there when I was 2.
2, yeah, to Bristol. Which hospital was that, which John Lennon was born in?
Do you know what? I don't even know. It was just, I always think of it as the hospital that John Lennon was born in. Yeah. That's it. That's the family legend.
He's got an airport named after him now, but not the hospital. Do you go back to Liverpool very often?
I've only been back... went back twice, once when I was 6 with my mum and dad, and then for an art trip when I was at school, and it was very strange, very nostalgic actually. It was, I got very early memories, and I've got quite a lot of memories of, before I was 2 of being there. And it's transformed Liverpool. I mean, if you look at what Liverpool's done in some ways compared to what Bristol's done, you kind of want to give Bristol a kick up the backside and say, come on, Bristol, Liverpool's done it, now get your backside in gear and you do it.
What is the big appeal in that? What have they done so well, which is causing you to give them that level of credit and
well, I mean,
praise?
the docks area, the whole of docks area, when I was there, and it was, it was over 30 years ago now.
Yeah, I know how long ago it was.
It was, well, I'm 36, so it was 34 years ago. It was really derelict. I mean, it was really industrial dereliction, and you could never imagine that it would be a destination that people want to go to. But going back when I was in my 6th form, it was just transformed, completely transformed. My mum did a triathlon there. As you probably know, my mum's a bit of a triathlon fiend. And she swam in the docks. And she said what a strange thing it was, having cycled around those docks, pregnant, because she cycled when she was pregnant with me. And then some years later, 30 years later... swimming as an international triathlete in those docks. She said, funny how life goes. Yeah, no, that transformation happening. I mean, I've been down here now 28 years since I left Liverpool, and, that exactly the same as when you were there as a little, and, the docks, they were a blot on the landscape, really. They really were. I mean, it was really dirty, old, derelict, industrial, very atmospheric. But, yeah, I mean, in no way any kind of destination place. The money people live there, you've got to have an apartment down there, or you're nobody almost on Merseyside, apparently. Absolutely. Don't know, I'm probably not posh enough to get there. So when people say to you, where are you from, what's your answer? Bristol. That's where everything happened. Not that much happened in the first 2 years of my life. Bristol's where everything happened. It must be slightly crazy now. I mean, you're representing Bristol North West. I mean, you went to school there, you were raised there, and is it slightly strange to think you're now the local MP? When I became a candidate, it was really strange, because you just feel so much part of your area. To be, in some ways, just taken apart and put on, not a rostrum, but in a position where you're asking people who you know and others to vote for you, that is strange. As you get more used to it, it just becomes brilliant, because we all care about our community. And I know there'll be listeners out there who go, oh, this is just so wrong, why don't they change this? And I was one of those people. You look at stuff and think, well, this is wrong, we need to change it. And I was always frustrated, because who was going to listen to me? I was just me. But when you go into politics, you do have a bit of a platform, and people will listen to you. And that is the most amazing feeling, to be able to do that, to be able to fight for your community, where you come from, and have people listen to you, have the Prime Minister listening to you. That is the most amazing thing. It's why you can probably hear I absolutely love my job, and it's such a privilege to be able to serve the place where I've grown up. It's such a cliche, such a political cliche now to say, oh, I like serving my community, but it is the most amazing feeling when you're actually able to do something. They're true. Well, I mean, I understand, what you enjoy the most. What's the hardest bit of the job, being an MP? Oh, the politics. What do you least enjoy? The politics, gets in the way. I often think that if you love politics, you should be the last person who's let near it, because a lot of it's mad. And a lot of it is I love it because I love getting stuff done. I love to see things achieved.
But it takes an age, doesn't it, to get to affect change? It takes forever.
It does, and you have to sort of hold your nose and wade through all the silliness, all the party politics, all the bickering, all that kind of rubbish is really frustrating. And we're entering kind of mad season of pre-election now, so it's only going to get worse from here till May. And there's two aspects of politics. The bit I love is changing things for the better. It's really very simple. That's all Parliament is there to do. It's just a tool to serve the people. But when you say the word politics, people don't think of that. People don't think of changing things for the better. They think of all the kind of internal power struggles. One party standing up and saying, you're rubbish, and then the other party saying, oh, no, we're not, you're rubbish, and everyone going, oh, for crying out loud, get on with it. And that's the bit that does frustrate me. But you always have to say, be the change you want to see. It's no good whinging about it. You have to try and encompass the values that you stand for. And I'm probably very rubbish at it, but in my own small way, as I do my job, I try to stand for that as much as I can.
OK, more with Charlotte in a moment, the Bristol North West Conservative MP. 19 minutes